Well, I am a much better leader than I was when I started, because we're in the people business, and we need to understand how to lead. Not only do we lead ourselves, but we're the leader of our families, and then we have to lead our employees, which is our most important asset that we have. And then we have to kind of lead our clients to trust us and to understand that, feel comfortable with our inspection.
Right.
I have to I want to be a good leader to real estate agents, so they're confident when they choose Pillar to Post that they made the right decision for their business and for their clients. So I think just being a better leader, and then just really, I think with leadership, just that you have to increase your people skills. Your
Today we have Tom Capuano, owner of Pillar to Post Team Capuano. Tom and his wife bought their franchise in 1997, and Tom performed their first inspection January 10th, 1998. Since then, they've completed over 55,000 inspections. Pillar to Post is the #1 home inspection franchise in Inc. magazine for the past 20 years. Tom and his team were named Franchisee of the Year in 1999 and 2005 for the Pillar to Post franchise network of over 550 franchisees, and they've consistently ranked in the top 3 for revenue and number of inspections per year since they started in 1998. Welcome to the show, Tom Capuano.
Thank you. Great to be here.
55,000 inspections. Can you tell us about inspection number 39,000 at least?
No, but I'm sure it was a good one.
Yeah.
People were very happy.
Gosh, man, that's unbelievable. Thank you for being a part of the podcast and being a part of Real Producers as well. For the people listening, our platform is set to help, real estate agents and affiliates in real estate grow relationships and continue to cultivate business. So, I'd spent some time talking to Tom years ago and quickly found out that he is one of the smartest business owners that I've come across. With the systems he has in place, the people he has in place, it's just such a well-oiled machine. And every time I talk to Tom, and then Julie is the head of marketing and all of that, it's like, you guys you're doing it the right way and you're very consistent with it. So thank you for being pillars in the community, as well as just great all-around people as well. And thanks for being here.
Thank you. Our pleasure. Our pleasure.
No, he says that about you even when you're not there.
I know.
Every time your name comes up, literally.
When you've made as many mistakes as I have, you kind of learn what works and what doesn't work. So it's kind of been trial and error to get to this point. With any business, it takes hard work. It's not luck. It's you have to put the work in, and it's boring and tedious and repetitive. But that's when you talk to realtors, who are top producers, it's not easy. It's hard, and it's not glamorous. It's not like watching the people on TV selling Manhattan. I mean, it takes hard work, and
it's amazing.
They earn it.
And we talk about that analogy all the time, like the tip of the iceberg. How it's everybody always sees the tip of the iceberg and not what's going on underneath the water. So it's like, yeah, we make the inspection look perfect and everything like that. Like we do our job to a T. We're service oriented, but under the water, we're thinking about every little thing about this house and what's going on. And it's like, I don't know, you're just consummate professionals, and I just really enjoy. I've really enjoyed getting to know you and learning from you as well. So, but with that,
yeah. Speaking of getting to know you,
yeah.
Well, let's get to know you. Because, Tom, we run into each other all the time, and I feel like I know you, but I don't really know you. So let's talk just a little bit of background, talk about your family, and just tell the listeners about yourself.
Oh, goodness. Let's see. I met my wife at The Ohio State University back in 1983, and it was pretty much love at first sight. We dated a few years and got married in 1985. And she was from Cincinnati, so I finished up my degree, and she finished up hers, and we moved to Cincinnati, and we started working. She's a dental hygienist by education and trade, and did that. And then I was working for a heating cooling company that I had part ownership in, and over the years, it kind of contract is a tough business. So did that for a while and got into the mid to late 90s, and it was going to go bankrupt. So we were going to lose some money, and I was going to be in debt to the IRS. Goodness, another lesson I could talk about. But I needed a job. So we were looking around, and I knew a guy doing inspections, and I knew a lot about heating and cooling, and I thought, well, let's see, I think I could do the whole thing. So we explored some franchises because I wanted to get up the learning curve because there was no resources available out there. So my wife loved the Pillar to Post logo. That's why we chose it. So it was a good decision. It was good training, good organization. And I knew starting, I didn't want to be a home inspector the rest of my life. I wanted to build a business. So I knew I had to go out there and throw the ladder up on the house the first several years to learn how to be in the business, the marketing and all that. And so I did that, hired our first person pretty much right at the end of year one, and continued to grow and add great people.
That's awesome. Yeah. Very cool.
What about the family? I know it's 2 daughters, correct?
Yeah, 2 daughters. Grace, who's married to my to a son-in-law, Alistair, and they have my granddaughter, Isla, and they live in Austin, Texas, we're happy for them, but my wife always wanted them to grow up and move right next door to us, but we'll see how that works out. And then I have my second daughter, Olivia, who's been in Manhattan for 11 years now. She's an interior designer. So she does restaurants, bars, boutique hotels, kind of all over the world. So exciting
cool.
life there.
Yeah, no kidding. To walk a mile in her shoes would be pretty cool with some of the people she's met.
Oh.
Just based on what we've talked about off camera, it's just like, my goodness, man, it's really cool.
Yeah, it's very, and they're 2 great places to visit. So we probably spend, a couple, 3 times a year in Austin, a couple times in New York City. So we're out and about, and then they're in town as well. So it's fun to see them.
It's really great. So from that standpoint, you're rolling into the late 90s. You're starting Pillar to Post. You're doing everything. To what capacity was your wife Tracy? Was she running the operation as you were doing the inspections, or how did that look when you started?
Well, she had to make money for the first couple of years, so she was the dental hygienist full time. So she was working part time, went full time, and I was doing everything: answering phones, scheduling appointments, doing the marketing, doing the inspections, and then the goal was always after a few years she would go back to part time and then start helping answer the phones. And she transitions out of dental hygiene into working in the business full time. Yeah. And that we have since transitioned her out of the business day to day now. So,
yeah. How long did that take from when you started to when she fully made that transition over?
Probably a good 2.5 years. Yeah.
Still great growth over 2.5 years. I mean, I would have guessed longer just based on how long it takes for businesses to get going in general. But
right.
That's great.
Yeah, she was happy. She didn't like cleaning teeth anymore, so she was glad to answer phones and go out and do marketing, and was kind of our first marketing person, visiting offices and things like that. So,
you've seen every market, and just kind of moving forward, and like what I said in the beginning is, talking about how you do want to build a business. The market kind of dictates the growth as well. So how have you been able to navigate your growth with the market and everything like that, and finding the right people to be, as a part of your culture?
Yeah, great question. Yeah, I think we have, if I could go back and look at all the people that have been working for me as inspectors, it'd be a long list. I think we turned the corner is when we really defined our core values. And those have helped us find people with the same core values as me. Lead with care, help first, be accountable for results, grow and thrive, and then have fun. So those are kind of our core values. And once we kind of put those on paper, basically I interviewed to find people with those same core values. Yeah. And once we did, it made such a huge difference because, home inspection's a commodity. And what we're really selling is the experience with that our people bring to that inspection and make it alive, and to the client and to the agents. And that's what really sets us apart, is being able to take care of the client at the inspection, take care of any admin things that the agent might need, reports on a timely basis, good communication, all those things that helps them shine and do their job and serve their client all the way to close.
Yeah, it's great. And I've said this many times, because I find that home inspectors above all are really, selling two different businesses. Like, you're selling your services to a real estate agent, and you're also selling your services to a client.
Yeah.
And it's like two different types of sales too, because they're relying on what the real estate agent has to say. But you still have to sell yourself to them.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, finding that balance, how hard is that for any inspector to try to find that balance and make sure you're not stepping on toes or crossing any lines?
Well, sometimes we do it well, sometimes we make a couple mistakes, but yeah, I think the key is really, one, first and foremost, the home buyer's our client. I mean, they're paying us, they're writing us the checks. We're always going to take care of them, and we kind of look at ourselves as just the translator of the condition of the home. We're taking it and putting into words and into pictures, and saying, here's the condition of your home, and the next step is to take this information, let it digest, and then go meet with your realtor and figure out what's next steps are going to be best for you. So our lane is, what's the condition of the home? Put it in paper, put it in pictures. You take this information, work with your agent on the contractual side of that purchase, because that's not where our expertise is. And that's what the realtors. So we kind of know that's the line. We're not going to advise somebody to ask for this or ask for that in the addendum. That's not our place, because we don't understand all the contractual pieces that have gone into that purchase.
Right. I could talk for days. So
Yeah. Now, sometimes people, agents. Here's the best compliment I could get is when a agent for a buyer loves us, but they don't love us when they have a listing.
What's up with that?
Well, not that it's bad or good, but they know that we're thorough, and we're not going to miss big things that really can make a difference. So, I like that statement, but I kind of don't like it, because it's like, hey, the house it is what it is. I mean,
right.
And
everybody wants to blame the inspector, but it's like, no, it's the house. We're just
interpreting what's here and kind of helping see it, because people are busy. They don't look at a house like an inspector looks at a house. They're busy with their lives, their kids, their travel, their jobs, and they don't get in the attic. They don't look in the crawl space. They don't look at the plumbing and stuff like we do. And a lot of it, what we see, is just lack of maintenance that just kind of gets away from the homeowner, and then they want to sell, and then somebody like us comes around poking around, and we see some things that they should have taken care of, and had they wouldn't be issues. So.
Yeah. Well, to that end, I think something that comes to mind too for me would be like that pre-listing inspection.
Yeah.
Have those become more popular in recent years?
Slowly. I think it's a great tool for somebody who's thinking about selling their home, because there's this emotional unknown. I'm going to sell my house, and oh my God, I'm going to have a home inspector come through it, right? And I don't like that feeling. Well, hey, be preemptive. Have us out. We'll inspect that home like there's a buyer coming along. I mean, we're not going to change the way we look at it, so that now here's some things that maybe I want to take care of. Here's some things that maybe I'm not going to take care of. So this allows me to maybe better price my home, and I can share that report. I cannot share it. Obviously, if we uncover something that's disclosable, you have to talk about it. So, but it's, as an inspector, I think it's better to get that on the table early, rather than wait till towards the end of the transaction when it could blow up.
Right. It eliminates those surprises that are going to cause everybody to have anxiety and all kinds of the unknown.
I mean, you've all bought and sold homes. It's a very emotional process.
I was in a Century home, and I'm like, who knows what's wrong with this? Like, oh man, I'm so scared for this inspection report, and it's like, it wasn't terrible. But like, from that standpoint, that kind of leads me into a question of, like, I don't know, like, the legality of like what you're allowed to talk about with the client as far as is there a certain threshold that you try to, or a certain line you don't try to cross when it comes to the severity of the issues that you find in the house, as far as like, hey, I saw A, B, and C, and B is going to be a little bit more serious. People are going to look at that like they're going to need you to replace it. Like, that's something you need to be attentive to. A and C were just, what we would see as something we want to put on the report because we saw it, but it's not. It's something we see all the time. Something like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Are you able to give advice to whoever your client is as far as like the severity of what you're finding?
Sure. I mean, after all, an inspection really is it's based on the training and experience of that inspector. So it's really an opinion. It's be no different than going to a doctor and you're saying, I want a second opinion. Right. Well, gosh, that doctor, he's well educated and licensed. He may give a different opinion. So it usually doesn't go that doesn't straight. I mean, if the furnace isn't working, it's not working. If the furnace is 30 years old but still making heat, it's not defective. It's still functioning as it is intended to do. But we're going to tell the client, hey, it's a 30-year-old furnace. They last 25 years. So probably during your ownership, don't be surprised if you have to replace it. So I think that's what you're kind of getting at. Yeah, roof age. So, we kind of give them an idea about life expectancies of big major components to kind of give them a heads up on what they should be expecting during the next 3 to 5 years of ownership. Now, obviously, if the roof is leaking, it's defective. It has a leak. It needs to be fixed. But if it's old and it's not leaking, well, then we're going to have to say, hey, listen, it's 15 years old. If you're here 10, the odds are you're probably going to have to replace it.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. So does that conversation also pretty common with the real estate agent? Do you get a lot of calls back from the agent saying like, hey, how severe are these issues, or what would you recommend, or anything like that?
Greg, well, we've honed our communications, so we hopefully can answer those questions in the report. So whatever the inspector speaks, it's going to be written down. Right. So we meet as a team twice a month, and I look at reports every week. So communication, written and verbal, are just critical in the whole process. So have gotten much better at that to eliminate that. But certainly, if an agent or a buyer or a seller or a selling agent have questions, we are there to help really everybody in that transaction. We want to serve everyone because they're all nervous and scared and want to get this deal done because there's other deals that are hinging on this close. So we kind of try to, we want to be the person that answers, be the resource. We want to stand behind our report and make sure everybody understands what's going on. So
right. Yeah, I think it is a tricky place to be.
Very.
I feel like you're this intermediate person and it's like, I'm just the messenger. But I'm curious, so just getting back to talking more business things over the past, 20 plus years, probably coming up on 30 here in a couple of years.
We're in our 27th year, I think.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So, business owner to business owner, what have been some of the biggest challenges that you've had to overcome? And that's a broad question, I understand, but like if you just think back over the, your career and what really stands out to you as a challenge that you had to overcome.
Well, I am a much better leader than I was when I started because we're all, we're in a people business and we need to understand how to lead. Not only do we lead ourselves, but we're the leader of our families, and then we have to lead our employees, which is our most important asset that we have. And then we have to, kind of lead our clients to trust us and to understand that, feel comfortable with our inspection. I have to, I want to be a good leader to real estate agents so they're confident when they choose Pillar to Post that they made the right decision for their business and for their clients. So I think just being a better leader, and then just really, I think with leadership, just that you have to increase your people skills. Your emotional intelligence about how to work with people has to be. I never stop learning. I'm always taking seminars and reading books and learning how to be a better person, better leader.
Right.
Because I think leadership solves 95% of all problems that businesses have.
Yeah.
So what are some of the top 2 or 3 resources that you've tapped into, you think, that have had the biggest impact on your leadership skills?
There's a guy, Darren Hardy, and he does a Darren Daily that I listen to every single day, and it's free.
Okay.
Which is a great, it just maybe 3 to 5 minutes about something, and it's usually leadership. And then he does some seminars too that you can pay. They're all virtual. So that's really, really helped me be a better leader, manage my time better. He does some sales and marketing seminars that are really, really good.
Nice.
So a lot of that kind of filters into our business.
Yeah, let's check that out.
Yep.
That's phenomenal. So 27 years, where have you seen, I'm sure you've seen challenges just like, we were talking about, but like the last few years especially for people who don't know that much about real estate, you're getting into the waters of, waiving inspections and my first question is, have you ever experienced that outside of these last few years when it was a really prominent thing? And then what advice would you have for anybody who's thinking about waiving inspections when they're not the professional? I guess, I don't know.
Well, the inspection manages risk. So we can't make it 0, but we can really bring it down a lot. So if you waive an inspection, you are basically accepting that home as is. Mm-hmm. And if you have the financial wherewithal to take care of any problems that you may not be aware of that pop up once you buy the house, then I say go after it. But I've never seen waived inspections like we've had over the last few years. And I know there's been litigation and negotiations between sellers and buyers, and of course once you get attorneys involved, it's nobody wins. But it's unfortunate, but that's what the market presented. People were tired of not buying a house and having 8 to 10 offers, and people were taking everything off the table that they could,
right,
so they could buy a home. And I get it. We actually did a lot where somebody would close without inspection. We'd go back and do an inspection for them so they could see. They would have a benchmark of what I need to worry about,
right,
what's urgent, what's maintenance, kind of the same thing. So
right.
Yeah,
not as many as I would like, but we did a few of them.
Yeah.
Well, I heard too that there was the ability to have an inspection done, but be it for informational purposes only, whereas like it couldn't be used to nullify a contract or whatever. Yeah,
there was some of that. Now it would, I guess it's a contract by contract basis, because if the seller is sitting on 10 contracts and you want to do an informational one, they're going to say,
right,
we're going to take one that doesn't want anything, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of the sellers were in the driver's seat for all of that.
It's true. Yeah, it was a dicey place to be for sure. I don't think the people that were waiving them wanted to either. That's not that's.
I would agree,
what they wanted,
because it was kind of that first time home price range. Kind of the hot market areas, kind of in the Oakley, Norwood, Pleasant Ridge areas where people they wanted to buy a house and they didn't. They got tired of losing 3 or 4,
right.
And we're gonna go in and get this one.
Yep. Yeah.
Which is scary. I mean, and thankfully that you, when it came to light that you would do that after the fact, I think that was a huge value add to the real estate agents that you partnered with. It's like, yeah, if you guys really want the house, we can waive the inspection. But I find that the top agents in the market are really strong on, the majority of them are really strong on maintaining that inspection, as a safety measure for their client. So like, once that communication happens, it was really comforting to hear that, the agent was still on board with the home inspection. We're just going to do it after the fact for informational purposes. Like, I thought it was a good win for everybody, but like, it was also not forgetting about how important the inspection really is.
Yeah, because an agent's, their thought should be, this person, they're 25 or 30, they're going to buy a house. They're going to buy 4 or 5 more houses, and I'm going to take care of them, develop this long-term relationship. And if I take care of them, they probably have 4 or 5 friends that are buying houses. So it's really it's good agents who are smart about business, understand the networking that can blossom off of a good referral and taking care of a client from start to finish. So you're right. You see that with the very successful agents know how to work that I don't want to call it a game, but they know how to work that business, and they're very, very good at it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you talk about the tip of the iceberg a lot, and I think, a short-sighted agent is only looking at that tip of the iceberg, that particular transaction, as opposed to all of the future business and referral business that lies under the water there, if they take good care of them.
I agree.
Well, I think it's true for every business. I mean, I do the same thing. I mean,
sure.
We want to take care of that person, and we don't want them. We want them to continue to refer us, just like both of you do as well. I mean, it's just good business to take care of people, and they'll take care of you. And I think more and more top professional agents are embracing the inspection and the relationship with their inspector, and that's how it should be. That's how we want it. Obviously, we want to see it that way. We want to see, that realtor lean on us when they're showing somebody a house and that person has a question about something. Take a picture, send it to us, or call us. Hey, have a buyer. Let's say they just went through a house and they have some questions on some stuff they saw. Give our office a call. We'll have an inspector talk to them. I think we could be used more as a good resource to help that agent be able to serve their clients.
Yeah,
same with the seller. I mean, we have some agents who are listing and then they call us with questions on an inspection that we didn't do, and we can kind of help them answer some questions about stuff like that. So, our whole goal is to help people buy houses and move into them and enjoy their life and not worry about having a big problem when they move in, and being educated about how do I need to take care of this home, because if I don't, it's going to cost me money to get it fixed up when I sell.
Right.
Well, and that's such a good resource to have too, because I think of it like when I sit down with a real estate agent, I was like, what tools do you need to put on your belt to be successful? And it was like, the ones you want to really put on your belt are the ones that are business oriented, that have the service standards that you would want reflected in your own business, right? And I was like, I've told Tom this, I'll tell you, Daniel, like I've told Tom that I've ran into other inspectors that just want to be in front of Tom too, because he's been through so much over the last 27 years, and he's more than willing to give advice to home inspection competitors too. And like, there's the community in this area has just been like, man, you don't see that often. And I think that's what's really cool. And Tom will be the first to say that there's plenty of business for everybody. And then you hear him giving advice to another inspector that he doesn't even work with. It's like, wow, that's a big service that I think, everybody could adapt, or at least have that mentality of like, people are helping people, and like, and that's where I learned a lot of that from you when I started. It was like, when we were having these events and we have 5 inspectors coming, it's like, oh man, I'm like, this could be weird. And then Tom's like, hey, how's it going? Blah, blah, blah. How's it going? And I'm like, man, this guy's great. Like, he's really breaking the mold in the stigma that, yes, it's competitive, but collaboration kind of overrules all of that. So sorry, I spoke too long, but like, yeah.
No, that's great. That's great.
Such a big testament to you, and so much respect for you. And I'd be remiss if I didn't include Julie, who's off camera. But she is such a great human being as well. So I really enjoyed working with Julie and getting to know her as well. So.
Yeah, we're blessed. We're blessed, and Julie and I basically are on a leadership team for our business, and we're just blessed. We work with great people. I love coming to work every single day, and even after 55,000 inspections and 27 years, it's still an honor to be invited into somebody's life at this super important time where they need somebody to help them through, and we're just honored to be able to be a small part of that home purchase for them. So,
well, 55,000 inspections, man. So what have you not seen then? At that point, it's like, tell me you've seen.
I've probably forgotten more than I've seen. Right? And listen, I got a great team. I did maybe less than 10% of those. So,
right.
So I got young guys who can throw a ladder on a house and jump up on a roof like Spider-Man, but that's not me anymore.
Yeah. Well, we can dive into the advice portion, Daniel. We'll kind of take over here.
Yeah, we want to ask you some advice, Tom, but before we do, we always just like to give a quick shout out to Back to Back Ministries for hosting us here in this awesome studio. So Back to Back Ministries is a global nonprofit orphan care organization with their sights set on providing care for today and hope for every tomorrow. From Cincinnati, Ohio to Hyderabad, India, staff teams around the world are stepping into hard stories and choosing to stay. To learn more about the work Back to Back does, how you can get involved, and why a global team won't stop until every child is known and loved, you can visit backtoback.org today.
Definitely appreciate them allowing us to use their space.
Absolutely. So, with that said, Tom, what advice would you like to offer to buyers and sellers in the market today?
Get a home inspection.
Yeah, that's a wrap.
I think from a buyer, participate in it, be present at the inspection, bring a list of questions. If you have a spouse, bring your spouse. If you're a seller and you're thinking about selling your home, get a home inspection. That way it's going to take a lot of unknowns off the table. You're going to understand exactly what kind of condition your home is in. If you're living in a home, we do maintenance inspections. So if you've been in a home 3 to 5 years and you got to do something, you're not really sure, have us out. We can do an inspection. We can talk to you about things that need attention now, maybe in a year, 3 years, kind of give you a perspective so you can kind of start planning kind of that maintenance. Because, we all think about can we afford the mortgage, right? But we have to think about, can we afford to maintain this home, because it's going to need maintenance. It's going to need, furnaces, water heaters, windows, a dishwasher. All those things are going to need to be, they take money. And I think a lot of people forget that because they're so excited to get this great new home and I can afford the payments. And it's like, oh my God, what? A dishwasher? I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
So I think that's a key piece that, if you can get a maintenance inspection, and if you've been in a home for a while, it's a great, because we're not selling anything. I'm not a roofer. I'm not an appliance guy. I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm just saying, here's the condition your home is in. Here's these components that are critical to the home, and here's the condition they're in. So, you might want to be thinking about some things, over the next few years.
Right. That's great. Mm-hmm. Do you have any advice that you'd want to offer to real estate agents?
Yeah. I mean, like I said, whoever your inspector is, know them, so that they are representing your brand and how you want to take care of your clients, because we look at ourselves as an extension of that realtor's business. And if we go out and do a great job, then they're going to be obviously happy that the client was happy, and it kind of all goes downhill from there. And then don't be afraid to talk to them. I mean, if you're not happy with your inspector, call a couple and interview them. We meet with realtors, new realtors, all the time, talking about how we can help their business, and we have a bunch of resources and tools to help brokers and help agents alike to shine in front of their clients.
Well, I love what you mentioned earlier too about being able to just call an inspector on your team to ask questions when you're at a showing or something like that.
Yeah,
that's a huge resource.
Yeah, it's such an emotional transaction, and people are scared to death. And it's like a phone call. We're not going to charge anybody for that. I mean, if somebody, obviously, we're not there, so we can answer a question, but it's certainly not a phone inspection. But again, if we can bring some of that emotion down and some of that unknown down, and then maybe somebody could say, oh yeah, maybe let's have an inspection and we'll see more about this. So
Absolutely.
That's great. Well, Tom, I can't thank you enough for being a part of this. Can't thank you enough for being a part of Real Producers. And I've told many people, there's a lot of great business people in this area, and you're always, towards the top of the list, if not the top of the list. So thank you for leading the way, not just in home inspections, but in the industry. I think leading by great example. There's a lot of people that follow you just because of how you've built your business. So thank you for being a part of this. Thank you for everything you do. Thank you for Julie and the whole team that you have, and Tracy, just all around great people. So thank you.
Thank you for having me. Your words are very kind, and I appreciate it. It's been fun watching you grow your business, and Daniel's got his business going, so it's been fun. It's a good community that you've put together, Patrick, with Real Producers. So it's a good group of vendors that I get to network with and see how things are going, and of course the networking with the realtors as well. So thank you for what you do.